All right, so a lot of people have said to me, Kiara, I can't match the same energy I have in real life on camera. When the camera goes on, I freeze, I think about what I have to say. I feel like I have to be this higher up, more senior kind of level person, and I can't meet my own expectations. So I'm going to show you now very, very, very quickly in this video why your fear of being seen has nothing to do with being seen. And this is your starting point. So watch this video, and this is going to be the very start of your entire journey. So make sure you listen to every aspect of what I'm going to be touching on. So at the moment, you probably assume that it's the camera, right? So when it comes to the camera, you will press record, and in that moment is when the freeze happens. And this looks different for everybody. What I'm going to tell you now, it's not the camera that you are afraid of, and it never has been, and it never will be. It's who you feel like you have to be when you press record. When that camera turns on, when you can see yourself, when you can feel that almost lump in your throat starting to, come to the surface, it's because you feel like you have to be a certain type of person. You have to meet standards, you have to meet expectations. And as soon as that comes into your mind, you shut down. And that's why you freeze. That's why you feel like you have to read scripts rather than just being able to speak freely. So I want you to pay attention to now how many times that's happened, how many times you've tried to film the content, how many times you've tried to write the scripts, how many times you've failed, okay? And really understand how much of your life this controls. Now, another thing is to understand where you are now, right? Because now that you know that you're not afraid of the camera, this is what's going on, even though you're not afraid of the camera, right? But of course, again, you are pinpointing this to the camera itself. That's why in real life, everything's fine, you're natural, you're in your natural flow. But as soon as the camera comes on, it's a completely different situation. So at the moment, you've probably got drafts, right? I'm assuming whether it's TikTok, Instagram, or whatever, media campaigns, there are drafts and there's no posts. Drafts and drafts and drafts, because you've seen the people that are doing it. You've seen the people that are vulnerable online. You've seen the women who are confident online. You've seen it, you want to do it, but you can't do it. So all of that, I want to even say all of that potential, let's call it potential. All of that potential is in your drafts. Nothing is out there for the world to see. And you expect your business to grow. Okay. So at the moment, drafts, a lot of the time, people will say to me, okay, I don't sound professional enough to talk about my own business, to promote my own business. You get to decide that. You get to decide what is professional enough. But the real question you've got to ask yourself is, are you enough as well, right? Because you're saying you don't sound professional enough. When are you ever going to sound professional enough? If you have this high expectation for where you want your business to be seen in terms of value, you're never going to meet it if this is the way you feel, right? And these things here are excuses a lot of the time. We will say, oh, okay, well, it's fine. I'll do B-roll, and I'll, just anything that you can do to be able to take yourself out of the equation. So that's like static posts, carousels, right? Anything that doesn't require a voice. And at the moment, you will feel like that's the safe option. And it's because it is, right? It's safety, it's comfort. And that's why you're not seeing growth. Because as a business owner, you already know if you want to see growth, you have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations. And right now, you're stuck in comfort, right? So this is why when it comes to even like pressing recording, right? Pressing record and your mind going blank, that's another thing that I think every single person has said to me. It's again stemming from the fact that it's not that you don't have the answers. It's not that you don't know what to say. It's your business. Of course you know what to say, right? But of course, when that expectation is there, you're going to feel like you could have learned more. You could know more. You need to follow the script, okay? So make a note of where you are now, because it's very, very, very important to consider going forward. Now, this was where my client Mariana was. So Mariana she's a multi-entrepreneur, I guess. She's doing multiple things. She's got her finger in different pies, but she has been on an incredible journey. So she's now actually, as of 5 weeks ago, officially a millionaire. But she was stagnant at 6 figures for a very long time, multi-6 figures. And she's now filming for national TV. She's also really, really, really confident in front of the camera. And I'm not just talking about fake kind of, confidence that you show just for your business. That same energy she now has in real life, because she's got more time. She's grown her business, she's scaled her business through the work that we did together. And she now has more time to be confident and practice that confidence. Because again, this is about practicing and continuing this long term, right? So she now gets the confidence that she has on camera, right? She had the confidence already in person, but now we've almost like 10x'd the confidence that she has in person as well. So she's now able to do more things in a smaller space of time, meet more people, network more, go on holidays more, because one, she has the earning potential to be able to do so, but also she's more confident. She'll go and do things alone, right? And this is where I want you to really see that it's possible for anybody. So this was one of my favorite success stories. Now, one thing I want you to understand going forward is that you don't lack confidence. So when you are thinking that you have a fear of being seen or feeling like you have a fear of being seen, it's not a confidence thing. You do not lack confidence. If you did lack confidence, you wouldn't have started a business. It's as simple as that. But what's happening is your brain is associating visibility with evaluation. So every time you feel like you can be seen, you are then thinking again about all the expectations that come with that. So looking good enough, sounding good enough, being on the same kind of path as everyone else almost, right? Other entrepreneurs, other business owners, whatever. But you have told yourself that if you don't meet these criteria, if you don't fit into these standards, people are going to judge you. Someone is going to say something and you are scared of how you're going to be perceived. And again, it comes down to pressing that record button, because as soon as the record button has been pressed, you lose control, right? Until you have pressed that record button, everything that you say to yourself in this room now that you're in, right? If no one's there, no one knows. But as soon as you press that record button, as soon as you post that bit of social media content, everything is out of your control. That's how you feel right now, and that's not actually the case. And that's what I'm going to guide you through. So at the moment, you're in protection mode, because what they don't see can't hurt you, right? Same way what you don't see can't hurt you. Because if things aren't out there, you're protected, because only you know what's happened behind the scenes. But again, that is what's keeping you stagnant. So this is where it's really important to consider boundaries, right? You need to be setting your boundaries. But if you don't understand where you even want to go with your own confidence journey to be able to scale your business or whatever else, the boundaries that you put in place aren't going to be for future you. They're going to be for current you. And if current you is sitting in comfort, those boundaries aren't going to align, right? They're not going to allow you to elevate. Now, when it comes to the experience of being a female entrepreneur, we have all become entrepreneurs because we wanted to lead. We wanted to build something of our own. You need to continue that. You need to continue that literally until the day you die, right? And lead with that legacy in whatever form that is. It doesn't even have to be in business, but it has to be in some aspect, because that's who you are, right? And that's why the social media presence is so important. So one thing I'm going to say is the polished version of yourself that you're trying to become. So when you press record and you are trying to be this version of yourself that doesn't mess up, right? That doesn't stutter, that doesn't say the wrong word, that looks clean, looks perfect, has everything put together, sticks to complete timings, right? As soon as you've set that expectation for yourself, within that first second of pressing record, everything has already gone to shit, essentially, because you, again, have told yourself that unless I meet these standards, this won't be good enough. And what that confirms about you is that you are not good enough. And if you're operating from that mindset from the very beginning, the cracks that are either already there are going to worsen, or new cracks are going to form. So this is where, from this moment on, you stop trying to be this polished version of yourself, both when the camera turns on, but also in your general life. I completely understand looking good to feel good. And I love that too, right? But it comes with discipline, because yeah, you can look good, but you've got to match that energy too. And that energy is you being able to show up. If you put yourself together, right, look good and whatever else, and then you don't go and do the work, there's no value. There's no value that you're adding. And I know the reason that you started the business is probably because you want to add value to somebody's life. You want to create a community. You want to build and grow, right? So this is where, going forward, we change your experience of being a female entrepreneur for good. Now, one thing I want to note is performance doesn't convert, authenticity does. When I say this, obviously business growth performance, yes, that converts, right? When you show testimonials and whatever else. But when it comes to your authentic self, that is what people are looking for. And I'm going to give you a key prime example now. So this is a very lovely founder who I know of a company called Pearl Cosmetics, and it's a skincare brand. She's absolutely incredible. With her social media, she's very open and honest within her platform, right? And she's an incredible female founder. Now, here you can see that there's no, her views are kind of, quite low, I guess, right? And this is in terms of how she shows up on camera, she's very, very, very confident, right? But something changes the moment that she shows up, literally crying on camera and being so open and honest about how her business is struggling because of something that she's been facing. Her views spike, right? And her views, the engagement on that post as well, right? And this isn't about stats. We're not talking about stats. What I'm trying to make you understand here is that when it comes to showing up on camera, you have to show up regardless, right? You can't just be doing it for views. You can't be doing it for engagement and likes and whatever else. But the moment she showed that she is confident enough in her craft, she's confident enough in what she's built, knowing that it's going to get to where she wants it to get to anyway, that she's able to come onto the camera, crying her eyes out, talking about exactly where she is emotionally at the moment and where her business is. That's where people realized, okay, there's a human behind this brand. There's a human behind this business that I've been buying from or that I want to buy from. Okay, because people are watching. People are watching, and that's another aspect of why you feel this fear, because you know that people are watching. But this is at one point what you hoped for. When you wrote down your goals for your business when you first started, it was to be seen. The goal was to be heard. You wanted people to know about your brand. You wanted people to know about your business. So this here is a key example of, okay, you can post and post and post and post, right? But as soon as you have real confidence and you can show up in any way, shape, or form without looking perfect, without being all put together, without having a script ready, that's where your people will come. That's where your customers will come. That's where your clients will come. And that's how you're going to grow and scale your business through you. Okay, this isn't relying on other people all the time now. Yes, that's great when you scale, but we need to make sure that for you to be able to delegate and for you to be able to run a business, you have to be so confident in who you are that you can show up on any day as soon as that camera turns on, because you want to be documenting this journey from the start to the end. Okay. Now, here's what you're not going to do, okay? From today, if you do any of these things, they stop. Affirmations, we don't need to do that, right? In terms of your business and in terms of where you are when it comes to being on camera. Affirmations are not going to help, okay, because they don't take any actionable steps. Affirmations are great in other senses of life, but with this, affirmations don't work. Repeating tasks, repeating takes, repeating tasks, or repeating takes. Sorry, repeating takes. So repeating takes for your filming, right? Not happening, because every single time you repeat, every single time you press pause and then press record again, you've told yourself that you've done something wrong. And that those limiting beliefs will come to the surface. And again, you will procrastinate and you'll tell yourself that you can't film, you can't be confident in front of the camera, right? And you just confirm those beliefs about yourself again. You're not going to just do it. You're not going to just go in randomly and just think, oh yeah, okay, it's fine, I'll just press record and hope for the best. No, there does need to be an element of strategy. And again, you need to feel comfortable, but also a little bit uncomfortable in what you're doing and what you're creating. We're not going to memorize scripts, okay? So going forward, there's no memorizing scripts. There's no using ChatGPT to write 5 million scripts and have it all scheduled for the next 2 years. None of that, right? This comes from, again, authenticity, like I showed you just previously now. And there's no more, this is the biggest one, watching other people with their confidence, right? Female founders, small business owners, big business owners, whoever you're watching, right? You are no longer going to watch these people and just decide that their confidence will eventually rub off on you if you just stay within that crowd, if you stay within that community, okay? Because that's not the way it works. You have built something of your own. You need to lead that thing of your own. This is one other thing that one of my clients sent to me the other day, and it just shows this exact journey. So she came to me and genuinely, she could not speak. She couldn't speak without freezing. She couldn't speak without overthinking. She couldn't present. she was very, very, very scared of how she would be perceived. Literally a few months later, I've seen an incredible transformation in her to the point where she has been asked to do speaking gigs. She has been to public speaking events and is now doing public speaking. She's putting herself in those rooms. She's having those conversations. Her friendships have gone through the roof. Her friends have seen a massive improvement in the way that she shows up, not just in business and in her professional life, but also in her personal life. And that's where the key element is that this isn't just business. Yes, okay, we are looking at growing your business through showing up and being confident on camera, but this goes into every other aspect of your life, and that's why it's transformational. And this client, genuinely, again, I'm so proud of the achievements that everything she's done is just incredible. But honestly, if you know who she is, speaking in front of people, speaking to just 2 people, right, in a room was too much for her. She's now spoken to the whole of the UK office and presented. And it's just insane because she's now ready. She wants to put herself in uncomfortable situations. Before, she would absolutely take herself away from any sort of uncomfortable place, uncomfortable conversation, because she didn't feel ready. She didn't feel like she was good enough. And now she's putting herself in those situations, and her growth, she got promoted within 24 hours. Like it's kind of there already, right? Proof is in the pudding. So she's just now elevating and elevating and elevating. She already knows where she's going in a year's time, and it's just going to continue. And I'm so proud of her. So this is what you are going to do now based on that story as well. You're going to follow this process. Seen, safe, self, lead, right? First of all, we're going to identify your subconscious visibility blocks, right? Because we need to find out where this is stemming from, first of all, so that we can shift it. Then we're going to look at safety, right? Your nervous system here, again, is kind of screaming out for help. It's trying to keep you safe, but also trying to push you a little bit. And everything feels very confusing because it probably feels like there's 2 parts of you right now. A part of you that really wants to go all in and do it, and a part of you that is completely holding itself back. We're then going to look at you, right? Because you need to understand now that you're going to be talking from self. You're going to be talking from who you are, not who you're seeing on Instagram, not that female founder who's doing incredible and doing all those crazy marketing campaigns. You're going to be speaking from yourself. Whatever you want to speak about, why you started the business, who you wanted to become when you started the business, who you want to become now, okay, the woman that you want to become. So that's what we're going to be leading from going forward. And that's where we're going to use your visibility to grow your business. And I promise you the results will be insane. They will be insane, but this is time now where you have to let go. You have to let go of the past. You have to let go of the expectations. And you need to be okay with the fact that you are now going to be your most authentic self, and it's going to bring you all the growth that you've ever wanted in your business. And that's something that's very, very, very difficult to accept, because if you tell yourself that you are not good enough, you can't possibly imagine that sales would come or new clients or customers would come from just you being yourself. And actually, it's the most possible thing you could imagine. And it's happened to so many people that I've worked with. So we're talking about scaling here. We're talking about growing, but not just a business, you, right? It all stems from you. It's your vision. And last thing to remember here is that you don't need more time. You don't need to feel ready, and you don't need to sound more professional or look a certain way, right? You need to decide that hiding is no longer an option for you, because it has been for such a long time and you've chosen that option. And this is where it's got you now, right? So hiding is no longer an option. And once you've accepted that, once you know that you're ready to accept that, then this is where your journey begins. The last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you a question. And it's a question that I ask every single person, client, anyone that I have a conversation with about this topic. How much is you not being able to show up on camera costing your business right now?